The story begins with a haunting monologue from an immortal being, one of the undead who have transcended life and death itself. For these entities, dimensions are conquests, stepping stones in their endless pursuit of dominance. Earth was supposed to be no different, a world easily subjugated, its fate sealed. But then, the unexpected happened. An immortal named Eel confronts a human who, against all odds, is still standing. Eel's skeletal face contorts with disbelief, his voice cracking. "How can this be? You, a mere human, still alive?" A figure emerges from the flames, his silhouette framed by the blaze, like he's been forged from fire itself. His body's a mess, burned, charred, barely holding together, but somehow, he's still standing. His face is a brutal sight, half melted and raw, but it's already healing, too fast to be real. "Who knows?" he mutters, his voice calm, almost amused. "Maybe I'm just tougher than you think." The skeleton figure, still processing what just happened, doesn't even have time to react. Before it can move, the man launches himself forward, moving with the speed of a storm. There's no warning, no hesitation, just a blur of motion, and then, crack, his fist slams into the skeleton's skull with a force so brutal, the bones shatter. The impact is sickening, like a hammer hitting glass. Fragments of bone fly in all directions, and the creature's head jerks back, completely obliterated. It's over before the skeleton can even realize it was in a fight. The scene shifts to 2 years ago. It's New Year's Eve, and we meet Kang Hyun, a 26-year-old man living in a cramped apartment in Seoul. His life has stagnated, filled with hours of mindless gaming and empty promises to himself. His younger sister, Kang Ayan, her patience worn thin. "Kang Hyun, I've had enough. You said you'd look for a job, but all you do is drink and game. If this is what you're going to be like, just go back to mom and dad's place," she shouts, her voice shaking with frustration. "I can't rely on our parents forever," he mutters. Ayan scoffs, bitterness in her voice. "But relying on me is fine, huh? You take my money and don't even try to change. Tomorrow is New Year's Day. When are you going to get your life together?" Hyun scoffs, rubbing his temples like he's one bad day away from snapping. All right, we'll talk tomorrow. My head's spinning right now," he mutters, exhausted and done. He slams the door behind him and he leans against it for a moment, letting out a long, tired sigh. Without a second thought he jumps onto the bed and face-planting into the pillow, like he can't even be bothered to care anymore. He stays there for a sec, letting the weight of it all hit him. "You had a shot, Hyun. A legit chance. Big company internship? You tossed it. Now look at you. Living like this? What are you doing with your life? Why are you even still trying?" His eyes slide over to his gaming PC, glowing like a silent reminder of his unfulfilled potential. Next to it, his forgotten ramen, cold, congealed, and sad. He mutters into the pillow, barely a whisper. "If life were a game, at least I'd be somebody. A hero, a wizard, anything. Something." He's out cold, unaware that his gaming PC has started glitching behind him. The screen flickers violently, like it's alive, and strange, translucent text begins to circle around a digital image of Earth Defense System activated, Haken Dimension connection temporarily denied, tutorial will now begin on Earth. As Hyun sinks deeper into sleep, he feels an odd sensation, like he's floating. He thinks it's just a vivid dream, the kind you get after a long, stressful day. But suddenly, he snaps awake. Hyun wakes up in an unfamiliar, vast white space, surrounded by nothing but floating system texts. He's confused, but the messages keep coming, greeting him. "Welcome, Mr. Kang Hyun, to the tutorial." His mind races. What is this? What's happening? The system lays out the rules. The tutorial has a total of 8 stages. The next line chills him. If you die here, it's not connected to reality. Then it goes on. If you fail, you cannot try again. Hyun's brain starts to overload. Is this a game? A nightmare? When the tutorial is cleared, you will receive an awakening and a reward, the system says. For a moment, he's frozen. The system continue, entering stage 1. We pray that your courage can save Earth. Save the Earth? Hyun's mind races back to his family. Mom, Dad, Ayan. He's always been the black sheep of the family, the one who never quite lived up to expectations. All he's ever done is game. And now, here he is, stuck in what looks like a nightmare, with a message telling him he's the one who has to save the world. But something stirs inside him. A flicker of hope. Maybe this is it. his chance to be something. To prove he's not just a lazy, good-for-nothing son. Maybe this is what he's been waiting for. And just like that, the white space around him shatters. It's as if the very fabric of reality splits apart, leaving him standing on the edge of a new, hellish world. The white space turns to black, then shifts into deep reds and oranges. The air grows thick with heat, and the ground beneath him turns to stone. The familiar floating system messages vanish, replaced by a terrifying new sight: narrow stone bridges stretching across rivers of molten lava. The bridges are thin, cracked, and unstable, and a few feet below, the lava churns, bubbling like it's alive. It's not just him, but other people are also confused and scared about the whole situation, too. But then a familiar voice cuts through the fog of confusion. Kan Hyun? Hyun snaps his head around. He can't believe it. There, standing next to him, is his little sister, Kan Ayan. What the hell are you doing here? Hyun exclaims. This is my dream, not yours. Ayan doesn't buy it for a second. That's my line. She fires back, scanning their surroundings. But seriously, is this a dream? This lava, it feels too real. The air is thick with heat, and the ground beneath them is nothing but narrow stone bridges above a pit of molten lava. What kind of stupid dream is this? Hyun mutters. He's trying to act cool, but even he's starting to question the situation. The heat feels way too real. Ayan, looking down at the bubbling lava beneath their feet, shudders. I don't know. Is this even possible in a dream? Hyun scoffs, trying to act like he's not affected. The brain's easy to trick. People always say you can't feel pain in dreams, but that's a lie. I've had dreams where I've felt everything: pain, discomfort, even the need to pee. Ayan cringes. Hyun's too far gone to care. Whatever, I'm going. The goal is to reach the end of the bridge, he says, gesturing to the narrow path ahead. Didn't you see the message? Ayan, still skeptical, questions his reckless approach. Are you sure that's a good idea? Maybe we should crawl. But Hyun's not hearing it. Nah, this is a dream. If I die here, I'll just wake up, he says confidently. But as if on cue, a figure falls from above and plummets into the lava, screaming in agony as they vanish into the flames. The siblings freeze in shock. You were saying? Ayan asks coldly, eyes locked on the horrifying scene. Hyun is dead silent. His earlier bravado evaporates. The scream was too real, too visceral. For the first time, he's truly scared. I wasn't scared, he mutters weakly, but even he can hear the uncertainty in his own voice. Ayan, who's more calm and smart, she leans in, her voice razor sharp. Listen, don't do anything dumb, alright? If you're gonna move, don't walk, crawl. Might actually keep your dumb ass alive. Hyun swallows, trying to keep his voice steady, but his heart's beating like a bass drum. Really? Ha! I'm not scared, not one bit. But his voice is practically squeaking. He drops down on all fours, crawling forward with all the elegance of a drunk crab. It feels ridiculous, but the fear creeping up his spine? That's real. As he shuffles forward, the silence between them starts to feel heavy. Too heavy. Finally, Ayan mutters, Hey, what do you think happened to us? Got any brilliant ideas? Hyun forces a laugh, but it's a little too desperate. This is just some crazy nightmare, right? Just a really realistic nightmare. Ayan rolls her eyes deadpan. You seriously believe that? I mean, come on, deep down you know something's wrong. This isn't a dream, Hyun. It's way too real. Her words hit him like a slap to the face. She's right. The fear in his gut isn't dream fear. It's the kind you feel when things are really about to go down. Just stop, alright? He snaps, his voice cracking and tears streaming down his face. I'm barely holding it together here. Ayan stares at him, a mix of pity and annoyance. And this is my big brother, everybody. Mr. Freak Out in the middle of a crisis. Hyun lets out a weak, bitter laugh, flopping onto his side. I can't crawl anymore. My legs are jelly. Ayan raises an eyebrow, her voice dripping with sarcasm. So now you're just gonna lie there like a slug? Great plan, genius. Hey, it could still be a dream, right? Hyun mutters, mostly to himself. Maybe if I just lie here, I'll wake up. But before he can finish, a cold, robotic voice echoes through the air, making both of them freeze. A set amount of time has passed since the start of the tutorial. The difficulty has increased. What's happening? Someone shouts, voice cracking as cracks spider out across the bridge. The bridge is collapsing. Run! Ayan doesn't even blink. Now isn't the time to stay still. Get your lazy ass up! She shouts, already bolting forward without a second thought, leaving her brother flailing behind her. Hyun's still on the ground, gaping. Hey! Wait for me! He yells, scrambling to his feet, drenched in sweat as he starts sprinting. Alright, just keep moving, he tells himself, his heart pounding. The bridge isn't that narrow. Don't trip, don't trip. His confidence builds with every step. Hell yeah, I'm doing it! He mutters breathlessly, eyes on the finish line. Almost there, just a few more steps. But then, in the corner of his eye, he sees it. The bridge above Ian cracking, massive chunks of concrete about to fall right on top of her. His stomach drops. He screams, panic twisting through him. Ian barely has a second to look up before the rubble starts crashing down. Without a second thought, Hyun launches himself onto her bridge, adrenaline kicking in hard as he dashes forward, grabbing her by the waist in one wild move. They both crash to the ground on the other side, painfully but in one piece, as the bridge behind them collapses with a thunderous roar. They're gasping for air, still processing the fact that they're not dead. Then, that same ominous voice fills the air again. Level up! Congratulations! You have cleared stage 1. You have temporarily awakened for your clear reward. You will officially awaken when the tutorial is over. Hyun lies back, totally spent, mumbling. I can't even move my fingers. Ian, still half terrified, half annoyed, mutters. You saved me, thanks I guess. He gives her a weak, goofy grin. Yeah, don't get used to it. But before he can revel in his hero moment, a glowing screen materializes right in front of Ian. She squints, reading it in disbelief. Strength? Agility? This looks like stats? What the hell? Hyun props himself up on his elbows, wide-eyed. A status window? This is like every gamer's dream come true. Are you kidding me? Before he can even wrap his head around it, everything blurs. The world fades to black, and then, Hyun jerks awake in his own bed, drenched in sweat, his heart racing. He glances around, disoriented. It had to have been a dream, right? Right. Shaking, he grabs his phone, needing something normal to latch onto. But his notifications are blowing up. Texts, group chats, hundreds of posts, and everyone is talking about the exact same thing. People he doesn't even know are describing the same nightmare, the same terror, even the same bridge. One post reads, "Anyone else have that insane dream last night? It was way too real." Another chimes in, "I swear I thought I was gonna die in there." Someone else adds, "I even felt the pain, what's happening?" As Hyun scrolls, chills run down his spine. This wasn't just his nightmare. It was everyone's. And as he stares at his phone, he knows, deep down, this is only the beginning. It's barely dawn, and Hyun and Ian are already going at it, yelling loud enough to shake the walls and probably wake up half the block. Their voices echo through the apartment like they're trying to win a screaming contest. "Hey, calm Hyun! Calm Ian!" Hyun, face red and looking like he's about to pop a vein, jabs a finger at her, furious. "You almost died last night. You were hanging over lava like this was some kind of damn action movie. That wasn't just a regular dream, Ian." She fires back, eyes blazing. "And what about that status window, huh? Stats, levels, health bars? You think that's normal?" Hyun raises his voice, practically cutting her off. "Could you just let me finish a sentence?" She crosses her arms, practically spitting. "Oh, like you haven't been interrupting me this whole time?" They're standing chest to chest, glaring like two cats ready to claw each other's faces off, until a loud stomach growl cuts through the tension. Both freeze, staring down at their bellies, unsure whose stomach just betrayed them. Ian clears her throat, trying to play it off. "Maybe we should eat first?" Hyun sighs, looking away. "Yeah, probably." Later, while they're munching on snacks, Ian's scrolling through her phone when her face goes pale. She stares at the top trending topics: end of the world, lucid dream, shared dream, apocalypse, tutorial, Haken dimension, temporary awakening, status window, red dog culture house, survival guide. She looks up, horror spreading across her face. "It wasn't just a dream, Hyun. People all over the world are saying they had the exact same dream." Hyun, who's barely paying attention, glances at his phone, blinking. "Wait, people actually fell off that nightmare bridge and didn't wake up? And they're fine?" He trails off, stunned. 3, maybe 4 out of 10 people are saying they fell, but no major injuries? Ian shivers. "Yeah, but imagine the trauma. People are freaked out, Some are saying the fall felt painfully real. Hyun shrugs, trying to sound nonchalant. She raises an eyebrow, unimpressed. And here we are, eating snacks like it's just another day? It's pandemonium out there. Outside their apartment, they hear yelling, chaos spilling into the streets. People are running, pushing, raiding stores for supplies. Someone screams, "Hey, that's mine!" Another shouts back, "No, I grabbed it first. Repent! It's the apocalypse!" Hyun and Ayan stand by the window, watching the world fall apart. Ayan breaks the silence with a smirk. "So, not going to work today?" Hyun shakes his head, deadpan. "Not a chance. Do you remember anything about that Haken dimension?" Ayan scrolls, focused. "Didn't you look at your status window? There's a way to check how much time is left on this temporary awakening." "Time check," Hyun grumbles. "Damn it, I wanted to check my own status." A glowing screen displaying a countdown. Temporary awakening. 5 years remain. Ayan's voice drops to a low murmur. 5 years, that's our deadline? Hyun nods. 5 years to prepare. Look, it's chaos right now, but things will calm down. For now, we play it smart, and staying in is smart. Ayan gives him a look. Wow, listen to you, Mr. Plan. By evening, the chaos outside finally starts to simmer down as people retreat inside, everyone holding their breath. That night, Hyun wakes up groggy, blinking in confusion at a pixelated screen floating in front of him. "Welcome to Kong Hyun's tutorial," it says. "Would you like to see the explanation and instructions for the basic interface?" Hyun yawns, waving it off. "Skip that. Just show me my status window." A holographic screen appears, showing his stats. Name, Kong Hyun, level 1, strength, 8, agility, 9, stamina 8, magic power, 14, additional stats, 1, unique ability, resurrection. His eyes widen, zeroing in on the resurrection ability. Grinning like he's just won the lottery, he mutters, "Resurrection. No way. This is totally OP." He taps the ability, and a description pops up. Resurrect 24 hours after death. Return from death until Earth escapes its crisis. Penalty, -1 level after each use. All abilities reduced by 50% for 24 hours. Resurrection penalty does not apply in the tutorial. Hyun pumps his fist, thrilled. "Resurrection man, here I come. I'm unstoppable." The screen flashes another message. "Would you like to enter the second stage?" Hyun smirks. "Hell yeah. I don't care what my stats are. I'll level up as I go. I'm Resurrection Man." With confidence pumping through his veins, Hyun clicks yes, and is transported into the second stage, a dark, medieval fortress straight out of a nightmare. He's holding a rough iron mace that feels heavy and cold. Before he can even figure out where he is, a goblin lunges at him with a rusty blade. The system announces, "Defeat the enemies and prove your skills." Panting, Hyun grips his mace and swings, smashing the goblin to the ground. He stares at the blood on his weapon, hands shaking. I actually killed it. My hands are tingling." Before he can catch his breath, a low growl echoes. A huge goblin appears, wielding a massive cleaver that glows with a sinister purple aura. Hyun's confidence wavers. Goblin militia? You've got to be kidding me." He looks down at his flimsy mace. Definitely no match for a monster like this. The goblin charges, and Hyun barely dodges, cursing. "Why am I dealing with this crap? I'm just a regular guy." But he's not fast enough. The goblin's cleaver slices into his shoulder, sending him crashing to the ground, blood soaking his shirt. Gasping, he whispers, "What? Why am I going through this?" The goblin grabs him by the collar, dragging him across the cold stone floor. His body is limp, vision fading. Barely conscious, he whispers, "Please, let me wake up from this nightmare, someone, anyone." But there's no waking up. Not in this twisted reality. How much blood is in the human body? Hyun never thought about it, until he watched his own blood spill out in rivers. The cold grip of death tightened around his neck as he endured hours of agony, waiting for his breath to finally give out while 4 goblins took turns torturing him. His sister Ayan jerks awake from her own nightmare and bolts into his room. "Seriously? This nightmare crap again? And so early? Now I have a damn headache." She spots Hyun, bundled up tight in his blanket, trembling like a terrified kid. In his head, he's spiraling. "No, goblins, please, no more goblins." Later, at breakfast, Ayan gives him a look. "So you bled out?" He nods, grim. "Yeah, First, they went for my nails, ripping them off one by one, then crushed them. And then they pulled out my teeth and, alright, stop, she snaps, disgusted. I died too, but not like that. So that's why you were crying like a baby? Hyun looks offended. You'd cry too. Even Guan Yu would call for his mom. She rolls her eyes. Okay, fine, whatever. You're joking, so you're fine, right? No need for the psych ward? He blinks, confused. Psych ward? She snorts. Yeah, people are crowding psych clinics from these dreams or whatever. Appointments have doubled. You going? Hyun winces, emptying his pockets. Even if I did, I'm broke. She grins, nudging him. Guess you'd better go make some cash then. Ian smirks. Hey, good news, once you die, the tutorial ends. Everyone who died in stage 1 didn't have nightmares about stage 2. Hyun visibly relaxes. Thank God. Maybe I can sleep in peace tonight. But that night, his relief shatters when a glowing message fills the room. Welcome to the tutorial, Kan Hyun. An error has occurred in the second stage. Moving immediately. May your courage save the earth. Hyun's face twists in horror. Stage 2 again? What kind of bullshit is this? He screams at the system. I'm done with this crap. Leave me alone. But the system, cold as ever, just replies, you will not receive a resurrection penalty as you are in the tutorial. Exhausted, he slumps against a cold stone wall, unable to stay awake. He jolts awake an hour later, frustrated. I thought I'd wake up, but it just keeps going. Hyun sat up, his gaze sharp with determination. So, you want me to keep fighting, huh? But damn, I'm starving. This sucks. He muttered as he got up, heading toward a massive wooden gate. Last time, he'd chosen a mace, figuring it would have good destructive power. But close combat was a nightmare. Maybe something long-range would keep him safer. A bow, a crossbow? Or perhaps for close range, a spear would be a better option than a sword. Hyun finally grabbed a crossbow, smirking as he whispered, Alright, let's see if I can finally nail this shot. He positioned himself like a sniper, aiming at a goblin's head. Time for some South Korean military-grade shooting skills, he said confidently. But the bolt missed, flying wildly off course. Frustrated, he cursed under his breath. Damn it! Should have figured I'd suck with a new weapon. By now, the goblins had noticed him and charged, murderous intent in their eyes. He quickly grabbed a spear, chanting a bit as he steadied his grip. Gritting his teeth, he growled, Alright, you little shits, bring it on. Charging forward, he managed to skewer one goblin straight through the middle. One down! Now for the rest, he said, only to realize that the spear was stuck. He yanked, but it wouldn't budge. Are you freaking kidding me?